Hello everybody and welcome back to Mistress Seraphym's channel. I'm Mistress Seraphym, although you can't see me. We're going to do, as you can guess, a reading today. I have somebody who requested a reading about his love life, and so I chose a spread for him that's going to tell a little bit about what he can do in his life to bring love in. So let's get started. The center spot is him. It's him and his issues. And what we have here is the One of Swords. And again, I'm using the Universal Fantasy Tarot deck. So the One of Swords, one of any kind, is going to be about new beginnings and about the start of a journey. And then the swords themselves have a lot of power, show leadership, that kind of thing. So when you look at the One of Swords, the best way to describe it is that it's a new start, but it's kind of a larger project. It's something of bigger proportions than just your average, everyday, your weekly goals, monthly goals. This is a long-term, larger project. So what I would say to him from the beginning, straight off, is you're starting from the beginning. This is a new journey for you. But you do have a lot of strength going in and a lot of power going in. Just be aware that it may be a long process because it's a pretty big journey that you're going to go on. So that's the number 1 spot. The number 2 spot is over here. And this spot is the behavior patterns that are happening now that may be hindering love from entering. So what we have in the number 2 spot is, I don't know if you can see it here, is the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a great card, and anytime you get a major arcana card in a reading, kind of flavors the whole reading. So yes, the High Priestess really stands for a lot of strength and prosperity. Maybe this, because it's behavior patterns that we're not, that are in his way in his love life. Maybe we're looking at here is that there's just too much focus on the self, and too much focus on how to get ahead, and not enough slowing down to let somebody else in. The High Priestess is a good card, typically, but this, like I said, this is something that's hindering him. So maybe he needs to balance the prosperity and the material side with letting people into his space. The number 3 card up here is his area for further growth. I'm sorry that keeps going off in the background. That's probably him. So the number 3 for further growth is the King of Chalices. Okay, and so oftentimes when we get a court card like this, it's representative of a person, and the king is an adult male. So I would say that this may even represent him as a person, is that for his further growth, the chalices represent emotion, and so maybe he needs to grow a little bit more into his emotional self. Maybe he needs to be able to move into a space where he can really relate with that. But he needs to do it with some grace. And then the good thing about this card is it's really all about self-improvement and motivation and things like that. So I would say that I think he needs to hold a really strong space of getting in touch with his emotions, so the internal growth can occur to allow love in. So the 4th position is down here, and it's the change or process that he's going to have to go through to allow that love in. And what we see here is the 9 of Wands. So let me get this up so I can even see it better. So this is the 9 of Wands. Okay. So the nines, when we're coming into the nines, we're talking about we're talking about sort of coming to a place of completion, and a lot of the main work has been done. So, and that's what the nines represent. But when we look at this card, the 9 of Wands, it's kind of a little bit of an exception, because it actually means like delay, or that we need to, that something is being suspended, or that there's, just some waiting happening. But I'm not necessarily sure that that's a good thing. So maybe the process that needs to change is not holding back and waiting, but moving forward. And that relates back up here to, only focusing on certain things in the life. So instead of sitting back and waiting, maybe being proactive and not allowing that delay as much. So this is also related to the 4th card. It's the 5th card, and it's the areas that need to be liberated. It's the things and areas that need to be liberated in order for love to come in. And here we have the Knight of Chalices, or Cups. It's really interesting because, we had a Cup card up here too. And Cup cards are really related to emotions, and Wands are related to passion. So I'm seeing a lot of that going on here. The Knight of Chalices is, what we see with Knight cards is that, again, it's typically a person. And I really do think, again, this is him. And so, and what's interesting about this card is that the Knight of Cups, or Chalices, is, excitement and taking off and, really going and charging after what you want. And that kind of seems like, considering this is the position that needs to be liberated, the things that need to be liberated, I really would say that this is a good thing. Sometimes this card can be seen as being too brash or moving too fast, but I don't. I think that releasing some of this, let's look at the actual card again. Releasing some of this excitement and, emotion, and freeing yourself up, literally liberating yourself, is really going to help, on your road to finding love. So, in summation, here we're seeing new beginnings. Here we're seeing that maybe there was too much time spent being alone, working on only one part of life. Here we see embracing that emotional space. Here we see maybe not delaying and waiting so long. And then the very last card again is just moving forward, kind of allowing yourself to be completely free, and really releasing some of that pent up, energy, where you kind of kept yourself really in control and, guarded and sort of introspective, but really allowing it to, burst forward and getting that passion that's going to attract, another person. So that's my reading for this person who had a request for me. If you have any comments or questions on this reading, please leave it in the comments down below. And until I see you again, live in health and blessed be.